Yeah, I'm headed back. It's crazy how everything happened at my dad's funeral. I had to stay a little longer because the day after we buried my dad, my mom was having chest pain, and we ended up going to the hospital in Concord. They ran tests on her. She was having pain in her neck, and she was having chest pain, and her ankles were swollen for some reason, And I remember when she came outside, I was sitting on the porch in my dad's chair, and she said, Jake, I'm having chest pain. So I'm like, oh, let's go right now. Because the issue was, when my dad was having problems, he could have been saved, because all they did was, instead of calling 911 and going to the hospital when he was having a little bit of problems, they actually was like, well, we'll wait. I line up with my normal doctor, and I go to the hospital, and I go to the emergency for tomorrow's an appointment, and he went and laid down and never woke up. And the issue at hand, I didn't want that to happen again, which turns out was a good decision to go ahead and call 911, and the ambulance came out to the house and got my stepmom, which I call my mom, got my stepmom, and they took her to the hospital. We was in the emergency room, and they did all these tests. I taught EKGs, and the neurosurgeon came in, and they x-rayed, they did a ET scan, and took blood, and one doctor was like, oh yeah, one doctor came in and was like, oh yeah, you can go home, and then you only got 2 more tests. We're waiting back for the results. The EKG and the stress test, and all of a sudden the next doctor comes in and say, oh no, you can't go home yet. We're gonna run a couple of more tests. And then the doctor that came in, the third doctor, because we went 8 o'clock Sunday. I was in the hospital 8 p.m. Sunday, and I didn't leave until 10:30 in the morning on Monday morning. And because the only reason why, my mom was like, yeah, go and take a bath, go get something to eat, and I went back to the house, and I took one of my cousins, Danny, who was driving the truck. He was driving an 18-wheeler. I just took him to go get something to eat. And the funny thing is, I took my time and let the doctors do their thing. And I called my sister up and told her I'd meet her up there. And we both met up at the hospital. And we get there. Mom ain't in the room. So I'm like, dang, what's going on? So we get there around about 2 on Tuesday. I get there at 2 on Tuesday, and we just sitting there, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? She came in like 3, they rolled her back in at 5 o'clock, and she was like, oh yeah, they ran the test, they ran the stress test, and I was like, hold up, they ran one down in the emergency. So through this process, I found out this. So when we called 911, the fire department showed up first. The equipment they used, the fire department guy was like, oh yeah, everything's fine. Your readings and your levels for your blood pressure and your diabetes, and everything is well within tolerance. So, 15 minutes later, the EMTs came and pulled out their equipment. And at that time, since I started the fire, I just went on by my business. I went in the kitchen, walking back and forth. They had her in the living room. They was checking her, and it was the EMT come comes in and they hook her up and tell me, oh nah, your levels aren't normal. So apparently the two different departments. The fire department had less liable equipment. I found that out, but it was weird. I couldn't go off the fire department, so I just told her, go ahead, jump in the ambulance, because she was arguing with me saying, I'll line up to go like what my dad did. And I'm like, nope, I'm here. No, we ain't going through this again. And just so happened, everybody left from the funeral. When the funeral happened Saturday, everyone left. All my cousins, uncles, everybody's gone except for me and Danny, one of my older cousins from Fort Lauderdale. Me and him, the only ones there. And I'm like, yo, this is not happening. So now I had to call everybody and tell them, Rosemary was going to the hospital. I start crying again and I walk off. The only reason why I stayed the extra days is because, my dad gone, so I had to do maintenance on the truck. I changed the brakes on the truck and I tuned it up. And I'm gonna post some of that to my channels. I'm gonna post a couple of pictures there so you can see what I was doing. And this drive is peaceful, so the traffic was real heavy. It's like an overcast, and the temperature is 68 degrees. I'm still in Carolina on my way back to Newport News, Virginia, and just so happened, okay, back to the story I was saying about my mom. So she gonna tell me that now I'm not gonna, I was like, no, because the doctor that you're gonna line up with is the same doctor that told my dad went there. The family doctor. My dad went to the family doctor, and the family doctor literally said, oh yeah, Mr. Jake, you're all right, and sent him home. And he died in his sleep because he had a hemorrhage in his brain. They didn't have the equipment to check for that. And I'm telling you guys, if you do not feel right, go to the hospital. I know, some people I can't afford and all that, but yeah, most of your loved ones can afford to lose you. And it's just, that's a diamond, dropping diamonds on you right there. But anyway, so she was talking about chest pain and all that at that time, and I'm just like, no. She called them, they came, loaded her up. I loaded up my family in my car, and we went up to the hospital, and that's when they did all the tests. So they moved her from the emergency area in the back of the hospital to, I guess it's called, they gave her a room on the second floor. And before we moved, they had a shift change at 1 o'clock in the morning. And that last doctor that came in was like, we're not releasing you. What we're gonna do, because all equipment, and I found this out, every doctor doesn't do all the tests on you. You know what I'm saying? So the doctor can only do what his department tells him to do. So he basically, the doctors of the hospital, regular doctors, they basically just did all they could do, and they couldn't find nothing wrong with her. So then what happened, the last result was, we got the word that they're gonna keep her. So I'm like, okay, so y'all find something. They're like, no, but what we're gonna do is, because they kept coming back and asking her, did the symptom change? You got this headache that shoots up to your to the back. You got this pain that shoot up from your right arm to the back of your head, and then you had this chest pain and nothing's going away. And they're medicating her up, man. They giving her everything. I was like, man, they giving her painkillers in pill form. They giving her the shot that you get, morphine. They was giving her morphine shots, and literally they was giving her so much morphine shots she started acting like a little weird and stuff. But the one thing that she stuck with is the pain wasn't going away. She's feeling good. The pain in her arm and the pain in her neck. Now in her chest, she just had tightness. That's all it was in her chest, tightness. And she kept saying, "Man, my chest is still tight." That's what she kept saying. So what ends up happening is we go up to the second floor, and before we left, the last doctor was like, "Yeah, tomorrow at 5 o'clock in the morning, we're going to schedule a specialist that deals with hearts." So I'm like, huh? Well, I thought the doctor, that's when I was learning curve. So, you know, the regular doctor at the hospital had no clue on the range of, they only had minor information on the heart. So, long story short, we meet the specialist. I stayed with my mom, and everybody else went home. You know, my sister went home. She thought it wasn't gonna be nothing serious. I thought it too. So then the specialist comes in, like, "Oh yeah, how you doing?" And this is the difference between a specialist and a regular doctor. When she walked in, which she didn't even look at the chart, because we questioned her, like, she came in, she said, "Hey, Miss Rosemary Williams, how you doing? You know, what's going on?" And she had to tell her that we just buried my dad. She didn't even know that, which is, I was like, oh, I thought she read the chart. No, she didn't read the chart. She didn't even know anything about the symptoms or anything. She just started questioning my mom. And she questioned her and said this. And this was so peculiar to me. I was like, how did you? That's weird. But that's what they're called, a specialist. So she asked my mom, "So what's wrong with your chest?" She said, "Oh yeah, you know, I have tightness in my chest, not pain, but tightness." And the specialist says, a woman, And I was like, okay. So then her next thing said, "So you have swelling in your ankles." So I was like, what? How did she know? And my mom was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, she does." And I'm like, okay, so swelling in her ankles and something wrong with her heart, those are the little signs that a specialist actually go through, the hard training they go through to notice what's going on in someone's body. And it's amazing to me that she just jumped straight to, "Oh yeah, you got swelling in your ankles because you got tightness in your chest." So she said, "What we're gonna do is I'm gonna run my test on you. And it ain't gonna be, and I'm just gonna hook you up to stress test. I'm gonna give you this dye. You can eat it, and afterwards I'm gonna give you ice cream for diabetes, whatever." So while she was doing that, that's when I decided to go take a bath, take my cousin Danny, and go get something to eat, and change clothes and head back. And I met up with my sister, and we went back. So we went back at 2. That's the 2 o'clock thing I was saying about, and waiting for my mom to come back. She came back different. She came back happy, and they did 2 tests. They did a test for the stress, and they did a test for blood clots. And the nurse, her name was Jessica. She was, I believe she could be a doctor. She not only was just a nurse, she was like, okay, I understand that most people don't understand. She was like, I understand that most people don't understand the doctor's writing. You know, so what she did, everything that was on the chart was there for us to read, but I'm just like, man, I don't know none of this stuff, man. I don't have a clue what the diagnosis is. And she came and she explained, she read like 2 pages, and then she said, "You know what that means?" To us, it's like we was having a class. And she's like, that means that they're waiting back for the stress test and one of the tests for blood clots in her stomach. They don't know. They did an ultrasound and a blood test for her stomach. It came back. One of the tests came back negative, but she didn't know about the blood clot in the brain. Because they thought she was having blood clots in the brain. So Waited like 10 minutes. She came back with the chart and said both was negative. So then the specialist, not the nurse, the specialist assistant, because they got a chart where they write it, so you wouldn't. They have a chart in there where they write their names down, so you wouldn't get them mixed up. You'll know exactly who's right, how to call their name. So the specialist assistant comes in and she says, "Guess what, Miss Williams? What happened is we found that you had a blood clot and a blockage in your heart, one of your blood vessels in your heart. And the reason why it took so long to find it is because you was going to have a heart attack." I was like, what? So my sister was in the background the whole time talking about, yeah, mom is just so dramatic sometimes, you know. I'm like, so that proved her wrong. So we actually was ahead of a heart attack on a 70-something-year-old woman just because she said her chest was tight. And because she was like, her chest was tight, I was like, yo, let's go in. So then I just started crying for joy. My mom was talking about, don't cry, Jay. Everything's going to be all right. So I was like, yeah, but you don't understand the dynamic of my daddy. We just buried our dad, our dad, and we was in the hospital and crying. Everybody's emotional. And the next day, everyone leaves. And the next day, I decided to stay to work on my dad's truck. And my mom gets sick, and they think it's called lonely syndrome, and which I've been reading up on. My brother sent me some stuff. He been calling me nonstop, worrying about our stepmom. So, but the funny thing is, we was just like, he's telling me it's real. Usually, when people are staying together for so long and one dies, the other one just give up on life and die. So what she was doing was, I found out she wasn't eating, which was weird because the church that they go to was bringing so much food by the house. She can have anything. They was bringing tuna casserole, chicken. They was bringing all the diabetic foods you can think about. She could eat all day long, but she wasn't eating. So she didn't even eat Friday. She didn't eat. So we was thinking, she just hungry. That's a hunger headache. But it wasn't. No, the pain that she had in her arm contributed to the heart attack. That's what gave it away. The pain in her right arm was letting the specialist know, she has pain in her right arm. Then she had this pain in her neck up to the back of her head, which was weird because they was like, oh yeah, it could be blood clots. The same pain that she had in the back of her head, in her neck, the neurosurgeon, which was another specialist. Now, that's the funny thing. I met 3 different types of doctors with 3 different types of symptoms. And that's why I'm like, yo, if I never would have went through this, what I just went through, man, some people need to get right, man. They need to make sure they're healthy. I met a neurosurgeon that only deal with the head, the brain. I met a specialist that only deal with the heart, this heart specialist. And the doctor deal with everything else, the vitals. And she went through all 3 of those, and it was determined that she was she didn't have blood clots, which that just basically knocked out the doctor, the normal doctor. Then the specialist, that she was she was about to have a heart attack. The heart specialist got on it, and then the nerves in her neck that was giving her a problem, that was because it was diabetic nerve. So that's an outpatient procedure where they basically bring her out. They schedule her to go meet up with the neurosurgeon at his location that's away from the church. Well, not the church, away from the hospital. And he ends up giving her shots in the back of her neck and her muscle, which was going to be steroids. And the way he explained it is, he can give you painkillers. He could have gave her painkillers, morphine and all that, and Flexerol and high doses for the pain. But he was like, all what's going to happen is 6 months down the road, maybe 4, all depends on the person, the pain was going to come back. So he said instead of worrying about the pain coming back, what he's going to do is he wants to build her muscle up. So that's what the steroids came in. He couldn't do it in the hospital because that wasn't his area to practice his. He only came in to walk around and to schedule, which I was like, man, I didn't know the system was, the hospital system was like that until I went to Kannapolis, you know, and been in the hospital and sitting there and learning. You know, I've been there plenty of times with my uncles and stuff when they was dying and having heart attack, but I never like paid attention. But now that I'm paying attention, I'm just like, okay, I wish I would have known a little bit better than what I know now. My dad probably wouldn't be dead, but at least I know that I was in the loop, and I wouldn't even say I was the head, which, you know, I was, because I was the only man there, you know, and I'm her son, and I just wouldn't take no for an answer. I just said no, you know, I'll go to work. I'm gonna go to work. I'm gonna leave at 9, 10 o'clock, and I'm gonna drive home. But I want to make sure when I leave here that you're okay. So the specialist came in when I went back up there with my sister. They rode her in, gave us the news, and scheduled her for a stent to get put in her heart at 2 o'clock today, and which is 2 p.m. You know, and on Tuesday. And I just told her, I said, good. And my sister, I took her home, and she called out for work, and I told her, you need to be there, front work right now. You know, you know, it's different for me, you know, being that where I work at. So I made sure that, you know, my family is well off, because it didn't make sense for me to just, you know, leave, and my stepmom is having these symptoms and she felt like she's dying, and I'm like, I didn't want her to die too, right back to back. I don't think our family can deal with it, you know. So basically that's it. I've been driving back on 85 north, and the temperature haven't changed, and got an overcast. No sun is shining in my face. You know, the roads are clear. You know, people are going the speed limit. I haven't passed a state trooper. I've been driving for almost 2 hours, and the state troopers that I seen was like far off in the median, and it was 2 of them parked together, and they just talking. So, and I know what time of the month it is, so I know they're pretty much not going out like hunting people down and trying to give tickets. So they got litter pickup coming up, and I noticed that when I'm going further north, I got away from the Carolina tags and those people that couldn't drive, and I'm here with the Virginia drivers, and I can't complain. I was complaining a lot about how people in Virginia drive, and I want to go on record and say I'm sorry because Virginia drivers, believe it or not, are at least 7 to 8 times better drivers than Carolina drivers. And I understand that because, you know, it's a lot of dirt roads and rock roads and stop signs and not a lot of lines, and not a pavement and stop lights. And I understand that they drive the way they drive. They don't even use signals. Whenever they merging over, turning left, turning right, they don't use signals. Heck, they don't even know how to use brakes. So it's just like, I follow them far off. You know, I follow them at least 3 car lengths back. just because I'm like, yo, I don't know what this food might do. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way they drive. They drive so aggressive for no reason. They're not going nowhere. They're not even saving 10 minutes. They're not even saving a minute. They're just saving seconds. 60 seconds here, maybe 2 minutes. They're not even saving 5 minutes. And I'm just like, why are they being so aggressive? But that's the way people drive. I ain't gonna judge them. Pretty much I already think I'm in Virginia because of the way the traffic is flowing and the fact that I be in Virginia. This dang dude in the dang Ford Focus is right up on my butt, and I'm trying to figure out why he's on my butt. So I just pushed it to 104 miles per hour just to get him off my butt. Usually let me get over, let him go on by his business, because it don't make no sense for him. I'm just dropping back. This is just a video that I'm gonna post on my YouTube channel, let my boys know. That's the cat. You'll see him pulling out to the left. I'm gonna try to vlog. I hope y'all can't see his tag. I'm gonna try to vlog it out. He on the phone driving 90 miles per hour in one hand, and I think he's cool. And I'm just like, yo, go on about your business, bro. Yeah. So this is just a video I'm gonna post on my way back. You know, some of the guys that on my channel, they like, oh yeah, man, post some more videos, man. And I know they love making fun of me, but that's just me. You know, my personality is who I am. I can't change it, and you know, they don't mean no ill things about it. And it's cool that I can actually post things for them to see. But that's the hectic weekend that I had, these days that I had, you know. And I want to thank my boss for allowing me to go ahead and get that Friday, Saturday, Sunday in, because of, you know, them extra days is like, wow, man, I needed those. And because I was planning on not using them extra days, but shoot, dang, everything that's just going on in my family. You know, my dad used to always complain about me. Oh, you stay this far away from me, but you don't come. And it's not that I couldn't come. It's just that it's just life. You know, I just get up and hit the road whenever I'm like, okay, I got this, and I'm gonna hit the road. I'm gonna come see you, you know, when I need you. I don't want to come there and just sit there. And that's how it was with him most of the time. But now he ain't here. I'm still gonna go to his house. I cleaned this, and that's the eerie feeling, like when someone dies in the house, you literally got to go back in there and take all their belongings out and clean the room out. And that just like, oh my God, that was something, man. And I threw most of these things away. I took a couple of things with me that I could use, tools that I could use. But other than that, you know, I'm not taking none of his clothes. I didn't take his Bible. I didn't take none of his belongings. You know, I'm just, you know, don't want to be reminded of my dad on that day he died. And that's what I looked, all this stuff in this room was a symbol of a reminder of the day that he left. And I didn't want that. I wanted it to be, you know, stuff that I remember. Oh man, I bought him this Kango hat like in 2008, and it never was dirty. He wore, and you know, my stepmom's sister stayed with them, and she came in. My mom was in the hospital. She came in and she's like, "Yeah, that's your daddy's sporty hat there." Sporty hat. He wore that hat, boy. He was a sport there. And I'm like, yeah. So my mom, she was telling me how she was putting all the stuff together and putting his clothes in bags to donate and to give away. And she asked me, did I take his hats? And I'm like, yeah, nah, I didn't take his hats. What you can do, you can take some of their hats. Like there's a bamboo hat that he used for fishing. You can get that too. It's brand new. Still had it. He never took the tag off it. Still had the tag on it. I remember buying it for him. Bought that hat for him like in 2009. And he still had the tag on it, brand new. Like he only used it like once or twice. So I told him just give it to Brother Moss, which is their pastor. He goes fishing all the time. That's what they was giving stories on how he would take my dad fishing. And they say Brother Moss, a pastor, he fish all the time. So I'm like, well, you can give him that hat. And he had a whole bunch of other hats. You know, my dad was a Patriot fan, so which was against me because I was a Dolphin fan. So he really been talking crap about his team beating my team the last past week. And, you know, then we lost back to back. We lost to the Bengals. He probably would have been still rubbing it in. But I'm like, whatever. And I know he's still with me. So roads are clear. I'm riding out, going the speed limit. You know, and trying to be safe, make it back to Virginia. And what I'm going to do is y'all can follow me, Jake Williams, you know, on YouTube. And hopefully you can pass this video. This will probably be one video. You know, I just want to explain what I'm doing on the road. This will be the one video that I post that everyone can watch and basically understand why I'm on the road. But the next video I'm gonna post. I'm gonna try to post at least 2 more videos on my channel with my way back. You know, I haven't got into I'm just past the border of Virginia and North Carolina, so it's not that much traffic and not that many people driving all crazy. So when I get closer to where the state troopers like to hide in the bushes, which I already know where they at, I'm gonna post those videos. Not the state troopers hiding, but people just speeding, hitting brakes, racing, because there's a lot of racing going on. All kind of cars, vans, little cars, like this little Honda. Have been following me for a while. It won't go around me. When I get over, they get over. You know, like, go on about your business. But oh well. All right. Peace to everybody.